Hey, how's it going? Right, listen. Clearly, over the past couple of weeks, past couple of months, you've been hearing from quite a few of our speakers for the Now That's a Membership Summit. And I am so excited to announce that the doors are now open. You can now register. So, this is the summit for you if you want to build a membership so good that your members never want to leave before you even have a team. So it is focused around being sustainable and getting things done in a reasonable workflow. And also, it's so completely centered on creating the best member experience possible for your members. The event is completely free. You can get a free ticket signing up now. The link will be in the show notes below. And we've got 4 entire days of incredible presentations that are coming to you based on different kinds of making an incredible member experience. So our days are themed. We've got building a magnetic community, juicy member onboarding and offboarding, creating holy crap member success, and membership management for high retention. I specifically didn't want to create this event to be another grow your business kind of event. This is, oh, you've got a membership or you want a membership? Well, let's make it the best place to be. And I have gone and gathered the best of the best in the industry and brought them all together for this one event. To be honest, I'm a little starstruck by the caliber of the lineup that we've got for you. So the fact that you get to attend this event and it's completely free, it blows my own mind. I can't believe I get to even see this for free. The event kicks off on the 9th of September, but we're going to be in the Facebook group already chit-chatting, talking about the summit presentations, talking about memberships and getting connected over there as well. And those of you who listen to the podcast know that this has been a labor of love for 5 months now, maybe? So go grab your ticket. It's linked below. I cannot wait to see you there. And also enjoy this episode. Welcome to the Get Unbusy podcast. I'm your host, Kate Philpott, and this podcast is all about throwing your busy work out the window. You deserve to stay locked in on the parts of your business that light a fire under your hoo-ha, all right? The passion-driven freedom lifestyle, not being glued to your laptop every waking minute of the day. It's time to build a business that works for you, not one that works you into the ground. So, let's get unbusy, shall we? Hello and welcome back to the Get Unbusy podcast. I'm your host, Kate Philpott, and we have got one heck of an episode for you today because I'm joined by the membership expert to end all membership experts. I've got Mike Morrison here today. Now, before I bring Mike on, I'm going to give you a little bit of background, okay? So Mike Morrison is the host of the long-running Membership Geeks podcast and the founder of Membership Academy, which is a community that supports thousands of entrepreneurs in launching and growing their memberships. I am a membershipper myself, and I can tell you now, Mike is not someone who scrimps on quality. With, I believe, over 20 years experience in online marketing and web tech. I may be a little off on that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's really dating me there, yeah.
To be honest, I wouldn't believe it for a second, but there we go. As of this month, actually, as we're recording this, a decade running his membership, which is unbelievable. Mike has developed not only his own crazy successful subscription-based business, but he's also helped thousands of others do the same, whether it's in coaching niches or, guitar playing niches, all kinds. And another fun thing, he's also a Geordie. And for me being Irish, I feel like, being based in Ireland my whole life, I feel like it's just a relatability there for me personally. And
it's just like the convention. It's the convention of silly accents,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. And essentially, Mike is one of our speakers at the Now That's a Membership Summit, which is happening very soon. And he'll be speaking on optimizing offboarding inside your membership and how that helps you retain more members. And today, I suppose we're going to have a chat about this, but also just a lot of good stuff about running a membership in general from all the different stages. So I am absolutely buzzing for this conversation. And Mike, it is so great to have you here. So welcome to the Get Unbusy podcast.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. I always love geeking out about memberships, and so I'm really excited, not just to be part of the summit, but to be here on the show and to have a chat about this wonderful world that we're in.
Yeah, actually, before we even dive in here, you were actually a big part of me starting this podcast because I remember it was a couple months ago. I was looking at one of the membership academy trainings on content marketing, and something clicked in my head. I always kind of had podcasts in my mind, but there was something about what you said. It just made me realize that a lot of the social media or content marketing that I had been doing was very like short shelf life. And I'm a big listener to podcasts. If I find a new podcast and I see there's 300 episodes, like I will be like, it's my toxic trait to be like, yeah, I'll listen, I'll go back to the start, I'll catch them all. So I kind of understand, maybe not everyone's like that, but I kind of understand like the mindset of a listener to a podcast, and I was like, you know what, now is the time. And I can't remember specifically what it was that you said, but you were a big part of me starting this show, so thanks for that. And now you're here, so what a full circle moment.
Oh, love that. I love that full circle moment, but also I like that I now get the credit or blame. Um, you know,
Yeah.
if in a few years' time, and you're like, my throat is gone, my accent has disappeared, because you mentioned my accent. This is not a Geordie accent.
No.
I've had to smooth this out because I podcast. So yeah, if you come to me complaining in 2 or 3 years' time, then yeah.
Well, for now, we're in a good place. But I suppose, first of all, hang on a bloody minute because you're hitting the 10-year anniversary of Membership Academy this month. So that, wow, like that's an unbelievable achievement. So first of all, kudos, like, but
Thank you.
to be able to do that regardless of what may have come your way in that time, good, bad, or indifferent, like that's, or external or internal, so we all have a fair share of challenges that come up, but to still be standing strong at the 10-year mark is just like, what an achievement.
Oh, thank you for that first of all, but yeah, it still isn't really sinking in that this has been around for 10 years. In the online business space, 10 years is a lifetime. Like the amount of trends, the amount of platforms, the amount of influencers and teachers who have come and gone during that time is kind of nuts. So I've earned every single grey hair on my head. I have barely registered just how much time has passed.
Yeah.
And I still love what I do. And I think that's the main thing. The fact I'm a decade in to a business where each and every single day I'm talking about this same thing. I'm working with this same group of people. And I love every second of it, genuinely. Really kind of validates why I teach this as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun time.
Yeah. So clearly you were an OG in the membership space. And so I'd love to know like how that became your niche, like why that specifically.
So I'd kind of been involved in online communities since the late 90s. Some of my first experiences online were in kind of traditional forums and bulletin boards and all that sort of stuff. So for me, internet has always been community, even before that became a buzzword. And very early on, I was setting up communities, setting up forums, predominantly in the gaming space. I'm a big nerd. I love my video games. And so, I ran a lot of successful communities back then, but it was always just a fun thing. But I've had that affinity to utilizing the internet as a place to just come together with like-minded people and connect. But it was never a key part of my career. I started out as a freelance web developer and online marketer. That grew. It went pretty well. There were some ups and downs, a couple of false starts. Eventually got to a place where I was co-running a digital marketing agency. And that was the majority of my kind of early career. I had taught myself web design, web development, online marketing. And so, I kind of brought this full toolkit to an agency working with clients. And through that, I work with pretty much every kind of business, everything from the standard 4-page website for an accountant who just needed to find local clients through to e-commerce sites, and the occasional kind of online community and the occasional membership site. But this was back in kind of 2012, 2013. Memberships weren't really a thing.
Yeah.
So when they came up, when projects came up to start e-learning sites and online communities, like I latched onto them. I was like, oh, awesome! Like this was kind of like a unicorn.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I'm going to ride this. I love this. And more as we work with clients in the early days of memberships, that affinity to the model just grew. The results we were getting were the best results we were getting for anyone. And I just enjoyed it. I loved the type of people who started memberships. You know, these are experts. These are people who are just passionate, people who want to be here in 10 years' time, loving every second of the fact that they get to show up to work with their people. Like, so I really resonated with it, really enjoyed it, and became so passionate about the membership model and so refined in my skill set towards helping people with this model that it became the only type of projects we would take on. So we would turn away the boring 5-page brochure website because we wanted to attract in people who were starting memberships. And we just, the more we did that, the more we became known just for the membership stuff, the more niche down we became in our service. We pivoted the agency to just working with memberships. And yeah, we were oversubscribed. This was 2015, 2016. We were the earliest evangelists for this. There's maybe us and 2 other people I can think of. And the agency grew to a point where I wanted to help more people than could ever hire me. So I started blogging, I started podcasting, we started a Facebook group, and leading on from that, we started our own membership. It was never meant to be everything. It was always meant to be a little side thing. You know, we were going to have our clients, and then we'd have a little community of people who maybe we couldn't work with one-on-one. Within 3 months, that changed. It just exploded, and now it's 100% of my business.
Yeah.
Don't work with clients anymore. I offer very, very limited consultation spots because that's much more about kind of just me enjoying occasionally working with people one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
But the entirety of what I do has been focused on helping people with online memberships for the last decade, and I absolutely love it.
Oh, that's so heartwarming. And I think from my perspective, I'm like, it must be so funny for you because I know for me, like, I have a membership. And when I try and say, even now, to people in real life, this is what I do. I have a membership. They're like, what's a membership? I'm like, how do you not know what a membership is? Like, we're in this little bubble but that's now.
Yeah.
So to think that, 10 years ago, I can't even imagine.
Oh, and honestly, the hardest thing for me is the taxi driver test. It's being able to explain to a taxi driver what I do. Because in America, particularly in America, taxi drivers seem very interested in what you do. And so I still kind of say, I run like a training and software company. Like, I run an online membership, but unless I want to spend the next, the entirety of that journey basically teaching what a membership is. So there's still that thing where people understand what it is when you explain it slightly differently. It's like online learnings. But the nature of an online membership still isn't really that widely understood as, I teach courses online, or, I build websites. Like, I run a membership. What?
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
Yeah, because like I've got friends in the gym, and like obviously a gym membership is a very different type of membership. So I say, oh yeah, I have a membership. They go, what do you mean? I'm like, it's online. They're like, what do you mean it's online? Like they can't like wrap their head around it. And then, but yeah, I'll have to find my little like elevator pitch for the normies who like aren't in that world to kind of just explain it without, talking around the world. But I suppose for me in the productivity niche, it makes a lot of sense to switch from the one-to-one to the one-to-many business model. And that's kind of like similarly to what you said. So I'd love to kind of open up that conversation. Like, if someone is booked and busy, let's say, nice
Hmm.
problem, but they're kind of like, okay, like yourself, like oversubscribed, overcommitted. There's not enough hours in the week. How do they start to transition then over into a business or into a membership model? Like, even though they might not have a ton of time.
So yeah, there's a few kind of stages of this. I think first of all, trying to get some sort of clarity on what they want that end picture to look like. Are they looking to start a membership and then fully transition from that one to one to one to many? In which case there is a phasing out of your one-to-one clients and a phasing in of what you're doing on the membership. I think first and foremost, when you decided this is what you're doing, you need the mindset that this project is a client. So you need to treat yourself, who is now the creator, developer, founder of your membership, that is another alter ego, and that person is your client. So block out space in exactly the same way. Protect space for that person as though they're a client. Don't treat this as a side hustle. Don't treat it as I'll squeeze it in, I'll fit it in. No, this is now one of your clients. And you would make time. You would honor commitments to that client. You would block out time that is non-negotiable in your diary to work on that client's project. So start by doing that first and foremost. Recognize that this shouldn't just be something you try and slot in, because you'll never be able to do that properly, and it'll always feel like an afterthought. Um,
Yeah.
and then the most important thing I feel that I did, and I have seen other people use this when I've told them, look at your existing client list and please never release this to them, but grade them A, B, and C. So think about things like, how much revenue does this generate this client? You need to look at the money, because ultimately, yes, your business shouldn't be motivated by that, but still, like, you can pay your bills with money more easily than you can pay them with, vibes, right? So how much
Yeah.
how much is this worth to me financially? How much time, energy, bandwidth, mental capacity, emotional capacity does this person take up? Do I enjoy working with them? Are they exhausting? Do they push? Do they take the piss a little bit in terms of their demands, scope creep, thinking about things like that? So really just looking at the big picture of these clients and trying to grade them A, B, and C. Then you're going to put a 6 dates in your diary. So you put the date in your diary where you stop taking on any new C grade clients. So these are the ones that you kind of know you shouldn't be working with, but we've got bills to pay, so we work with the arseholes every now and then. You have a hard stop date for when you will stop accepting clients or projects where the financial value is below a certain amount. The type of work is not the type you enjoy. Where the general sense you get from them, they're going to be a bit of a pain in the arse, they're going to be a bit demanding. You stop taking on those clients. That's your first milestone. The second day for the diary is the day that you stop working with your existing C grade clients. If you work on retainer, or if you've got long-term projects that are going to be wrapped up at a certain time, there is a hard stop date for when this is no longer part of your world. Then the next date, the date you stop taking on the B-level clients. They're pretty good, they're not the most lucrative, they're okay to work with, but you're not going to, be heartbroken. Then the day you stop working with existing B-level clients. Then it's the day you stop taking on new A-level clients. So this is when you stop taking on any new client work whatsoever. And then that final deadline is the end of client work. You say a sad goodbye to your favorite clients and you are all in on your membership. So treating it in stages, phasing out essentially the worst work, the least profitable, the stuff that, when you talk about the 80-20, the 80% of the effort that is only giving you 20% of results in your business, like the dross, the shit, the stuff that we all take because we kind of have to. And you phase it and you phase it and phase it. That makes that transition a little bit more palatable. It makes it easier to deal with, less impactful, while creating increased space in your world to be able to work on your membership business. Now, if you intend long term for your membership to be just a small part of what you do, then you stop after you get rid of your C-level clients. So you make that little bit of space, you replace the time you're spending on those projects with your membership, and you're increasing the caliber of the people you work with one-on-one. If you want your membership to kind of be 50-50, you get to a point where you're just working with A grade, you become highly selective about the type of people you work with. You make them apply to work with you. Like, this is kind of going down a tangent. The biggest shift that happened for my agency was when I realized, you know what, why the hell am I convincing people that I'm the right person for them to hire? They should convince me. Like that. Anyway, that was a whole other thing where I just decided to be like, you know what? No, beg me to work with me because I'm good at my job, right? Anyway, so you can get more selective. You can do that if you know that you are only going to take on a certain profile of client, because anyone else will detract from your ability to build your membership business or build your course business or build whatever else you want to do. So that has been my approach. It's what I've recommended, what I teach for people making that transition from one-to-one to one-to-many. Look at what you already have in your arsenal. Do you already have frameworks? Do you already have processes that you can actually turn into templates that you can create resources from? Do you already do some sort of training? Is there any element of your service that is so repeatable that you could turn it into educational material? You could package up and productize that service and it becomes a part of your membership. So make use of what you have already, the assets you've already created, and use that to fuel the initial content, the initial things that go into the membership. And start paying attention to your wider audience. Start asking them questions. Start having conversations. What are their pain points? What are the most common needs that they're coming up with? Start to gain that better understanding of the problems your audience have so that you can develop a more effective solution through your membership. If you're even considering starting a membership in the future, that's something you start now. Just start having conversations with people. Start paying more attention. When you talk to clients, don't just think of their needs through the lens of the project you're doing for them. Start to really think about them on a broader sense of your market. Because, of course, going one-to-many, you're solving bigger problems for a bigger group of people. So hopefully within some of that's useful about how you would start to make that kind of mindset shift and that procedural shift from one-to-many to a membership.
Yeah. I am obsessed with anything that is like a strategically mapped out plan. So that's just music to my ears.
Love it.
I also 100% back what you were saying about kind of, I don't think you use this word specifically, but repurposing what you've done. You've already put so much time and effort and work into these one-to-one clients. So be looking at the things like, what questions do you often have to answer? Hey, maybe we can create a little FAQ bank for your membership where, the people that work with me often have this issue, that issue. They often ask this question. They often ask this follow-up question when I explain, and because you've already done a lot of things that can support it. So, that's kind of everything I'm all about.
And that repurposing, utilize your past clients as the case studies that you center educational content around. So, there is probably more directed value in creating a course, which is kind of how we created the entire SOP bank for this client, how we set up the sales funnel for this website, and create a course where you basically just teach what you've done and show the screenshots and show the stories and show that process. That is going to have more value than just teaching that broad, here is how to set up a sales funnel.
Yeah.
Having a 1 hour workshop on, this is the sales funnel we created for this business that created these outputs. So even if you don't have content you can repurpose the experience, repurpose the project process that you utilized. Some of the most popular content that we have inside Membership Academy is a series called Membership Insider, and it's literally just me kind of doing a teardown of an existing membership business. So I just go in, I hit record on a screen, and I just talk through what I'm seeing as I go through their sales page. Oh, this is cool. This really sucks. This doesn't make sense. Why the hell are they doing that? If they just change that. So it's that real unfiltered stream of consciousness all the way through the sign-up process, the onboarding, what's in there, and then cancelling. But that actual real-world example, these aren't projects some of them are projects I've worked on in the past, but these aren't clients. This isn't teaching anything in an educational structure, but focusing it on a real-world example, that provides so much value to people. And so if you can do something like that, but using the client work you've been doing, if I was starting out the membership today and I just recently been working with one-on-one clients, I do that kind of thing for the projects I've worked on. As it is, it's 10 years since I've like built anyone else's membership business with them. And so you can't really do that. So you have to just pull apart other people's work. But thinking around that sort of stuff of like the quickest route to delivering value to a larger audience, how can you tap into the things you've already been doing, the clients you've been working with, the projects you've been working on, telling stories, case studies, sharing experiments you've done. That's a very quick way to build up a lot of value you can offer to a wider audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also I think it can be it's a lot more accessible sometimes to actually see the thought process in real time, rather than like explaining the concept. I feel like for me, like with productivity, there's like productivity strategy is kind of hard to explain. How do I explain to you planning your week? Like
Yeah.
sometimes you just need to see it happen. And then it's like, oh, okay, so that's the thought process when you do that. And this is how you optimize that. So rather than me just going, well, best practice would be XYZ. So there's that side of it as well. It's like accessible to a brain on the receiving end,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Like you have to, it's productivity isn't something you do. Like it's the effect, it's the end result, it's something you feel.
Yeah.
Like, oh, today I'm going to do some productivity. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do struggle to define it myself. But yeah. I suppose I would love to know, like, if someone's listening, they're thinking, I want a membership, but where do I actually start? There's so many different moving pieces. Are we looking at content? Are we looking at the tech, the platform? Are we looking at onboarding? Like, what comes first?
It's none of that. Really, what comes first is recognizing that we're all in the same business. We're all we are all problem solvers. All we are doing is monetizing, providing solutions to problems. And so the very first thing you need to do is identify who you want to work with. Like, who do you want to serve? Why do you want to serve these people? Why are you the right person to serve them? But then, what are their problems? Like, the biggest mistake I see people make is starting a membership or a course or anything, and they have no real idea of what problems they are solving. They just get fixated on this amazing solution they're building, but it's not a solution because it doesn't address a problem.
Yeah.
You need to speak to your audience. You need to find your people. If you can't find an audience, which is a reason a lot of people say, I tried to find some people to ask them about their problems and I can't. It's like, okay, well, you're going to be screwed trying to sell a membership to them. You can't find people to have a conversation with. You cannot find people to sell to. So you've got to find your people, research your market, and start listening, start paying attention. Go to where your audience is. What are they complaining about? What are they annoyed about? What's keeping them up? What are they celebrating? What are they commiserating? Like, what is going on in their world? Where are the problems? And only through understanding the problems can you start to look at solutions. So you don't start from, I want to build a membership site. You start from, I want to serve this group of people.
Amen.
Figure out what their problems are, and then determine, would a membership be a solution to those problems? So are these problems long-standing ones that will take a while to fix? Are they recurring problems? Is it something that is finite, or is it lifetime skilling up? Is it lifetime learning? Like, All these kind of things you need to identify. And then from there, okay, a membership could be the way to go. I feel this is the way that I can provide the education, the support, and all that sort of stuff. From there, you need to figure out, okay, what is the main driving factor here? Is my audience motivated by a particular outcome? So some North Star that they're chasing, an ultimate endpoint they want to get to. Are they motivated by mastery? So, you never complete guitar playing. You never complete fitness. Like lifelong learning, lifelong leveling up, skilling up, refinement, enhancing, improvement, day to day. Is that what's driving your audience? Or is your audience driven by connection? Like, is the thing that will serve their needs best, putting them in the right place with the right people, building a support system, making relationships, all that sort of stuff? Or do they just want stuff? Do they just need resources? Do they need templates that will make their job easier, that will make their outputs higher quality? So graphic designers, for example, most memberships for graphic designers, they're giving them templates, they're giving them resources, fonts, icons, stuff that makes their projects easier and quicker to do. So figure out what the motivating factor is. That then informs everything else that comes. That determines what content goes in your membership, or whether you need content at all. The stuff you need to give them to facilitate what they need, that will then determine the tech, that will then determine how you market. So it all stems from there. So it starts from that higher level strategic thinking and that understanding of your audience, validating an audience exists, validating they have problems, validating that your solution is the right thing for that problem, validating that the problem is so big they will put money in there, they will put their hand in their pocket and pay you money to solve it over and over again. But also validating that you are competent at connecting the dots. Because you could have the biggest audience with the most painful problem. You might have developed the best painkiller for their headaches. But if you suck at tying it all together, if you don't know how to communicate, how to sell, how to reach these people, who cares, right?
Yeah.
Nothing's going to happen. So you need to validate all of these kind of things before you start worrying about how long should my courses be, should there be video or audio, what membership plugin or software to use. That's the piece of the puzzle that matters. Everything else is incidental. Everything else is just execution.
Yeah.
You need to figure out that real root driving force, and then everything will slot into place. So yeah, that's a lot. But no, that's generally the best way.
Yeah, no, that's so helpful. And I'm actually going to switch gears a little bit, because so we've talked about kind of, all right, the beginning stages, how do you start and all that. I'd love to ask you, and this is a little bit more of a personal one. Was there ever a time where you just were like, I want to burn it all to the ground and walk away from this bad boy?
Do you mean a time today? A time yesterday? No. I've never really wanted to burn it all down. No, because I've just I suppose the side effect of loving the membership world is that you're always going to have an affinity for your membership, right? But I've absolutely had points where it's been rough. It's been tricky. One of them came literally the day before launch. We had a major tech meltdown on the day before we launched. Our membership plugin updated, completely broke. I had to switch membership plugin like at the last minute, re-add everything, rebuild all sorts of stuff. I was up to like 3 a.m. right before launch, and my co-founder at the time, I was like, why? Why are we doing this? We've got an agency. We could just keep doing one-on-one stuff. We'd initially, before starting the academy, we did toy with the idea of just creating a course on how to start a membership and just selling that for $100. It's just a little thing you can do. Like, why the hell did we decide we were going to actually do this? So I definitely had that moment, like literally, 10 years ago, because this is around about that time. We launched, I think it was the 27th of August, 2015. So just shy of 10 years ago. The first big what is the point moment came in 2016, because when we started out, there was us. There was another guy called James Schramko, who was talking about memberships. He's one of my earliest mentors. And a fantastically smart woman by the name of Robbie Kalman Baxter had published a book called The Membership Economy. And she worked with the likes of Netflix. So it was a different world, but she was one of the first people, like mainstream, who said the word membership, right? That was it. And they weren't competitors. James was more of a coach on a broader sense. Robbie worked with big subscription and SaaS companies. So we had this place to ourselves. We essentially laid the tracks. We were the forefathers of this. And we did all this work, and we started from nothing. We didn't have an audience. We didn't have a network. We built it up. We're just getting traction. And then some guy came along who already had a bunch of connections in the kind of American online influencer space, who decided he was going to teach memberships in a course instead of a membership, who charged $2,000 for this course. So that meant he could give people £1,000 commission for every sale. And that's very, very seductive. And this just kind of came and he just rocked up. And of course, everyone we've been working hard to kind of build connections with to help us to grow our reach, they were very, very easily seduced and swayed by this big commission check to promote his course. And that was a knock, because that kind of really was disheartening. It's like we've been trying to do this the right way, been building our reach organically, becoming more visible, becoming known as the go-to on memberships. And some snake oil salesman's just rolled into town writing big checks to everyone to essentially start promoting him and proclaiming him to be this guru of memberships. And of course, someone's giving you $1,000 a sale. You will turn around and say, this person is the godfather of memberships. A few people didn't. A few people who were in his orbit stuck with us. A good friend of mine, Chris Ducker, I always respect him for doing that, because a lot of people he was connected to suddenly switched allegiances. But no, like that was a big, you know what, why are we bothering? What's the point in trying to do this the right way when actually someone just rocks up and throws money at it, and that's the way it goes. So that was a why are we bothering? Not a should we burn it down, but why are we bothering? Like, should we just do the $2,000 course and kind of sell out a little bit? But no, just had the conviction of what we were doing, knew we were doing it the right way, knew that the membership world, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's the turtle and the hare kind of thing. We'll keep doing our thing. Blinkers on. We know that we're serving people the right way. We know that our stuff is good. We know we're credible. This other guy isn't. It'll show in the end. And it has. It kind of paid off. But then other than that, COVID was challenging.
Yeah, actually.
A lot of people left as soon as lockdowns happened and as soon as the shit really hit the fan, because obviously subscriptions are the first things to get cancelled during a crisis. Once people realised the world wasn't totally ending, they came back, and a whole bunch of new people did, because of course things changed. Memberships boomed during COVID. People had to pivot, but also the demand for memberships spiked up because a lot of people were sitting at home thinking, you know what, I'm going to learn how to play the drums now. Now I've got all the spare time in my hands. So that was a bit of a wobble. And then the other time was the beginning of last year, where my co-founder made the decision to step away from the business. That was out of the blue. That was terribly timed, because I just spent like a week mapping out the entire strategy for 2024 that was very heavily dependent on her still being involved in the company. And then literally the day after I'd finalized this for discussion, I got an email saying that she was walking away. Some health challenges, some personal issues, but also she just kind of got burned out on the industry. And that totally threw everything up in the air. So
I'd say.
Yeah, the first 6 months of 2024 was kind of just about surviving.
Yeah.
Quarter one was like literally just survive.
Yeah.
Quarter two was steady the ship. Quarter three was let's get growth on track for the membership. Q4 was, okay, what comes next? Let's get back to the strategic stuff that we were going to do this year to take us to the next level. And thankfully, we kind of got through that without having to burn it down or having it burned down by the way things rolled out. I realized that was a lot more information than you asked for, but you said it was a personal question, so I had to give you like the entire everything.
Rabbit holes are welcome on the go. And that's a really interesting one, that last one as well, because you then have to navigate like, okay, and I'm sure I presume at this point you had other team members, but you're like, all right, well, I'm now leading this. I'm leading this. And then just like, that's a whole different kind of, I'm sure, like identity shift too. So
in a big way. So probably the worst thing of it, in the 6 months leading up to it, we'd started to move to a place where my focus was becoming more strategic. My focus was becoming more expansive behind the scenes. So I was working on other projects that would align with the academy, and we deliberately made the decision that I wouldn't be as day-to-day the face of what was happening inside the academy. There was always this shift. I was a little bit more the public face, but the day-to-day running of things was more of a shared burden, whereas we'd started like ring-fencing my time away to just work almost in isolation on bigger, more strategic projects. So I pulled away a little bit from being visible, and then all of a sudden I'm shotgunned right back into that. The team in particular, I was worried about. I have an incredible team, but of course, if you're working for a company that is a small company, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, at the start of the year as well, so everyone's literally just coming back from Christmas holidays, all of a sudden it's like, okay, one of your bosses has just disappeared.
Yeah.
Are they going to panic? Or are they going to worry? Do they think this is the beginning of the end? Some people on my team are very spicy brained. It works very well because I'm very spicy brained as well. But spicy brained people get worried. Yeah. We get a little anxious. And so there was a lot of steadying the ship to do there. But as well, one of the big things is maybe the largest challenge that I've had in the last 10 years has been around branding and positioning. There was 2 people in the business. And so you can't really tap into personal branding. It could never be the Mike Morrison show because it wasn't the Mike Morrison show.
Yeah.
It would be like Ant and Dec, where it's kind of like, it's Ant McPartlin and some other guy, right? Like everything we did was as a 2-person unit. And so we couldn't really lean into the personal branding. And I think we kind of mastered the duo brand to a degree. But then all of a sudden, oh, okay, we're the membership geeks, plural.
Yeah.
Who are the membership geeks now? Do I need to be membership geek? Do we repivot so actually all of our listeners are membership geeks? Like, so just those little things have we kind of suffered from not being able to be a one-man brand around the personal branding for so long. And then it's like, okay, what? Does it become Mike Morrison's Membership Academy? Does it become like you all? If you listen to the podcast, you're now the geeks. I'm not a geek, you're a geek. Like, yeah, and we've sort of navigated it. I'll often introduce myself as, I'm Mike Morrison. I'm the chief geek around these parts. So it's like we're all membership geeks. I'm just the biggest one.
You're cracking me up.
Yeah, it's a funny one.
No, I'm actually I'm crying here because just I don't know why it's so funny to me just to have a singular membership geek, but it's just really tickled me there.
Yeah. When it's membership geeks, I'll say, yeah, geeks are cool, right? Geeks are sort of like,
yeah.
But when it's just geek, it's very like pointing a finger. Oh yeah, it's that that weird membership geek in the corner,
like membership loser.
No one wants. Yeah, that is the thing. People, you want to hang out with the membership geeks? Yeah, we're hanging out with the membership geeks. They're awesome. No one wants to hang out with the geek, singular. Like it just brings it all back again.
Yeah.
So no. Okay, and this is the funny thing, right? So we didn't start out as membership geeks. We started out as the membership guys. Or this is how you can tell someone old school in our world. If you still call us membership guys, or you call our academy member site academy, because that was the branding. We didn't nail the branding early on. Some of it accidental, some of it just, I don't know. Well, there was a kind of a phase where there were people who did internet marketing and they were the internet marketing guys. There were people who did tech stuff and they were like the tech guys. So we were like, yeah, we're the membership guys. Does what it says in the tin. Immediately regretted it because like the day after we went live with the brand, they were like, why are you the guys when one of you's a girl? And this was before there was greater awareness and sensitivity around gendered language. So this was even before that was something that people were making more of an effort to be mindful of. But now I'm like, I could have just been the membership guy all along.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if I could have just stuck, we should have just stuck with that. Because membership guy is fine.
Yeah.
Membership guy is harmless. More harmless than the membership geek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
These are luxury problems, but
yeah, 100%. They are. They are. But no, that really tickled me. So I am very curious as to your perspective on when, if you're running a membership and you're doing it on your own, like at what point is it time to start outsourcing? Because obviously it's tough at the beginning. You're on your own and there's probably not as much money coming in. So all the work is on you, but there's probably more work to do because you've got all of the growth to do. So love your perspective on that.
I think sometimes it's just when you have that thing pop in your head of like, I really shouldn't be doing this. Like, this isn't the best use of my time. Not, this isn't valuable, this isn't a task that needs doing. Just that this doesn't feel like the best use of my time. When you are doing things over and over again, once that starts to set in, and once you, hopefully before you get to a point where you're having to rush through the stuff only you can do, like content creation and coaching call or like Q&As, like hopefully you'll have that moment before that kind of thing starts getting squeezed and starts kind of suffering because of the admin stuff or the things that someone else could just as well do. But I think that telling point is where you're starting to feel the pinch for the hours in a day and where you find yourself sitting just thinking, this just doesn't feel like the best use of my time.
Yeah.
Because a lot of what's in a membership, like there is repetition. You know, with a membership, memberships are a value exchange. You want people to give you value in terms of their dollars, cents, pennies, and pounds. You need to give them value in terms of content, coaching, showing up in the community. So they are not set it and forget it. There's that cadence of doing stuff, releasing new material, just logging into your community every morning, answering customer service. So there's always something to do. So there's a lot of repetition. And you can do all of that initially when it is just you. But if it gets to a point where your days are predominantly the things that are not the best use of your time, admin, editing, uploading, like basic low-level customer service, that's when you need to bring somebody else in. Always recommend starting with a VA. Definitely don't go the employer route right away, because that is a bollock.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love it now. I love the fact like we hired our first full-time employees during COVID. I love the fact we were able to do that.
Yeah.
I love knowing that, you know, we have people who have jobs in the academy. It's a good company to work for, I hope. But, you know, you don't need that to start out with. You start with a VA and start with the tasks which are the least useful use of your time, but that need doing. If these things don't get done, the other stuff can't get done. But it doesn't need you.
Yeah.
You're creating content, you're going to need someone to edit it. You're probably not an editor. And if you are, and you're so good at it and you love it, why aren't you doing that for a job?
Yeah.
Right? Like, let go of that stuff that doesn't need you. You need to be the rock star, not the roadie. You shouldn't be the one who's adding posts to WordPress. You shouldn't be the one who's editing your own podcast. All of these little jobs where it's like, oh, well, it's just quicker if I do it.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not. And maybe it is. Well done. You're a very quick editor, but it's still taking you 20 minutes you could spend on something else, right? So
And the
that's
headspace.
yeah. And headspace, because yeah, how the hell do you go from do editing mode to right, I'm going to put together this really like dialed in piece of training content.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that's why people cling on to the day-to-day tasks. I think people cling on to it because it's an easier headspace to be in.
Yeah.
Editing and like it's easier to spend the day doing a bit of editing and a bit of admin and stuff like that. I think people cling on to it for comfort.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I'm not really feeling it, I can spend, I'm just going to edit my podcasts today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gentle call out.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm saying this as someone who edited their own podcast for way longer than I should have. And I was that person who was kind of like, well, listen, I've just recorded it. I've got the podcast software up.
Yeah.
My podcasts are always audio only. They're predominantly solo episodes, so the editing is not that much to do. Just my mistakes. And I've got the software open, so what harm is it for me to just snip out the bits now? But that's an extra 10, 15 minutes. That's putting off something else. I batch record my podcast episodes, usually 8 to 12 at a time. If I'm spending an extra 20 minutes on every single episode, that's a big extra chunk of time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think sometimes it's laziness because we don't want to have to go through the process of finding someone to do it for us. Sometimes it is just financial, but you've got to think about what can you do with the time that is freed up. Like one of the biggest things from James Schramko, I mentioned him earlier, that he used to teach about. I think other people talk about this now, but he was the first person I heard talk about it, and that is your effective hourly rate. So look at the things that you do that are you can directly connect the dots to revenue generation. Look at how much money you make, look at how many hours go into it. And that is your effective hourly rate. Because when you're running a membership, you're not billing by the hour, you're not on salary. Like how much is your input? What is the revenue generated? What does that break down as effective hourly rate? Your growth opportunity is increasing your effective hourly rate. So if you're taking 10 hours a day to essentially generate, $500 of revenue in that day, then your effective hourly rate is $50 an hour. You can generate the same amount of money, $500, but if you do that in 5 hours of the day, you're doubling your effective hourly rate. And it's looking at it's reframing things like that and reframing the value of your time and looking at it as, if an hour of your time is worth $50 because that's what it generates in revenue, then surely it's more strategically advantageous to pay someone $20 an hour to do the editing for you.
Yeah. Oh, so much good stuff in there.
Yeah. It's just a mindset shift, like of valuing your own time and recognizing that you are an asset to your company and you need to be doing the work that only you can do. If you were someone you were hiring, do you want your $1,000, that's a terrible salary, $100,000, do you want your 6-figure salary employee to be editing podcasts? No, not at all.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, you've actually given me so much to absorb there, and I'm sure the listeners as well. And
sorry.
No, it's great. You're going to be doing a presentation on optimized offboarding in the Now That's a Membership Summit. So I suppose in the meantime, where can our listeners learn more about you and what you do?
So you can find all of our stuff over at membershipgeeks.com. That's where we publish our podcasts, blogs, and resources. We have also, and this is a funny one because it's not happened yet, but it will have happened by the time this podcast comes out. We've also just done something absolutely batshit insane. So we have a signature course that is called the Membership Roadmap. You'll be familiar with the Membership Roadmap inside Membership Academy. This is an 8-module epic course that teaches you everything you need to know to start a membership site that is set up for success. That is now free to everybody.
Ooh!
Yeah. So we had We had two choices. We kind of thought we've just updated. It's all re-recorded for 2025 with the most up-to-date strategies, tactics. And we kind of thought, you know what? We could separate this out and we could charge people $1,000 for it. Other people charge $2,000 or $3,000 for a fraction of what this course provides. So we could do that. Or maybe we just put it out there and just don't charge for it and just let people have it for free. Because honestly, I'm sick of people being taught the wrong way about memberships. And I've just set myself a little personal mission. I want to start 10,000 new memberships off right. I want to have 10,000 people start their memberships the right way, because I want everyone who starts a membership to be here celebrating their 10th anniversary in 2035. And most of the crap that's out there teaching memberships will not get them there. So, yes, little impassioned moment. But if you want to learn how to start a membership from us, you can do that for free with our signature program, membershiproadmap.com. There's no trick, there's no fancy funnel. It's not something where we're like, it's free with an asterisk because you're going to get hit with 20,000 upsells. No nonsense, no BS, no tricks, no fancy funnels. Membershiproadmap.com, our entire signature program, completely free.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah. And yes, can confirm that the quality is unbelievable. So don't be like, oh, it's only a freebie. No, it's actually not only a freebie, because I've seen it.
Yeah, this is a $2,000, $3,000 course that we're just giving away for free. And you know what? When this episode goes out, I might be regretting that decision, because this could be business suicide, because we are giving away our best thing. But you know what? I think that's what's needed for this industry to make sure people go the right way, and start a business that actually succeeds, survives and thrives.
Yeah, I respect it. Well, Mike, thank you so much for your time, for your insights. I appreciate this so much. So you're an absolute legend for coming on. For those of you listening, I will chat to you next week. Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye. All right, gorgeous. That's a wrap on today's episode of the Get Unbusy podcast. If you got some juicy golden nuggets from this episode, I want to hear about it. So take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories, and tag me at MoreToLifeKate, because your girl wants to know. And remember, you're an absolute powerhouse. You can create the life you've been dreaming of, and I can't wait to see you pop off. Chat to you soon. Bye.